Hi everybody. Today I've got a handful of sessions to share some results from. So I'm starting things off with some nose slides on the box with two different boards and two different setups. I wanted to make sure it wasn't the wheels, it wasn't the trucks, it wasn't the board. It's me when it comes to nose slides. I just need to work on these more and more and get better to where I can actually get up there and hold a nice long slide. It seems that lately things like this, nose slide into fakie manual, have been happening lately. Things that I do accidentally that's like, oh wait, that's weird. Why did that happen? Well, I don't really know. If I could do that on purpose, it'd be kind of cool. So today we're going to track the weird things that I do. So weird count is at 1. Then we're going to work on some backside crooks again, and I love this grind so much, and my box at home is finally sliding kind of the way I want it to. I think I've gotten the angle iron broken in, I think I've waxed it enough, and I'm using the wheels that I kind of want to use, and things are going really well on different boards. We're getting some shove outs right there, that's awesome. Sometimes I still pivot out, and throughout this video when I'm working on my box at home, I'm working on that. I'm working on trying to come out regular, and that's improving slowly. It's more of a mental battle. It's hard for me to keep the weight on my heel on that foot that's holding the grind. And there we finally got one. And I think I got a couple of them this session. So it's really just a mental battle to convince myself, okay, keep the weight on your heel really pressed in as you come off the box and try to do that little nudge, but that little nudge only with the heel. Then I got a crazy idea. I was thinking I'm going to try my element rail. It's only a couple inches taller than my box, and I can use my box to secure it and hold it in place. I'm going to see if I can nose slide on this rail. And as you can see, it was a little hard for me to get up on the rail. Same problem I always have with nose slides. I don't really commit to it as much as I should. But I was getting some slide, and that's good that I'm trying it on a rail on a different obstacle. So that is growth. Now I'm going to go really crazy and see if I can do a crook on a rail. This is way out there. I don't know what possessed me to try this, but thinking of it on the square rail, since the square rail is a lot like my box, let's go for it. Let's see if I can lock a crook into this thing. And even if I don't really slide it, let's just see if I can get it on this rail. It's also good that it's a little taller too, because I've been struggling with crooks on taller obstacles, and I really want to be able to do that somewhere down the road. So that last try was my very first try, but I did go for it. Then after a good number of tries, I'm not showing all the failures because it took a whole bunch of tries just to sort of figure out how to get lined up. That was a weird fall. But I did start to find the spot, and I was starting to lock a crook into this flat bar, and I'm really psyched that I was able to get a couple of these. But as usual, weird things are going to happen. So this is like a slightly crooked nose grind, even though I didn't really get the tail up. So that's weird count number 2. That was a strange thing to have happen. There, we finally got crook with a shove out off of a rail, and I'm really excited about that. Another weird trick, I locked in a wheelie and I almost even got kind of a shove out. Maybe that would have been a 180 pivot out. Doesn't matter, it was a wheelie grind that I didn't expect, so I chalked that up to a weird one. That was another good save right there. Managed to save myself from falling right on the rail. And then finally got another really sketchy one here. The other thing I wanted to do, since somehow my reaction was to shove off of this rail, I wanted to get the pivot out. For some reason I wasn't doing that naturally, so I was trying for it. I kept doing a shove just because my body kept wanting to turn that way, but finally got a crook with the pivot nice and clean. So here we have another day, another session. I'm working on the mani pad as I often do because I love it. And some days it's hard to kind of get the ball rolling. And as I did a manual, I just cratered myself there. I'm really glad I've been wearing my pads more lately because I fell right on the elbow pad and it totally saved me. I didn't get hurt there, and I very much could have. So then I'm going to work on some flat ground kickflips, and if you remember my last video, I had some really good ones in the garage that I was really happy with. And then going back to these, they were a little bit of a struggle. That last one was okay, but we're going to talk about kickflips a little bit more coming up. But on this day, I wanted to take kickflips up the mani pad. I did land a few, even though they're a little sketchy. That was one there, but I had bad balance, came off the side of the pad. That one finally got a little straighter. I landed sort of on the nose, too, and I was telling myself, dang, I should have gone into nose manual. But kickflips up anything, anytime I land one of these and roll away, that's a good thing. Then I'm going to go to the hip because this hip is really good. Half cabs are super fun. They're nice and floaty. And then I wanted to go to fakie big spin. I haven't done this since last year. And this is weird count number 4 because as I landed this one, the front wheels did not touch for a long time. So that was more like fakie big spin to manual. I wasn't trying that and it sort of just popped out. Then I got a really good solid fakie big spin. That one looks a lot better. But fakie big spin to manual, could it happen? Tried some kick flips, never got one that day, which was surprising. I thought I was going to be able to fight for a kick flip on the hip. Now we're back on this other ledge. This ledge is 12 inches high. I finally measured it. And I'm trying to get nose slides on it. So this is a lot higher than my box, and so it kind of sketches me out. The other thing that sketches me out is that it's kind of skinny, and the far side of it kind of, you can see that hill there, kind of falls away. And I think that plays with me mentally about trying to like fully commit to this ledge. Because if I fall into the ledge or over the ledge, that's not going to be a lot of fun. But we got a couple of front side nose slides here. They're not great yet. I need to dial this in a little bit more because last year I had a couple really good ones. And then here, let's check this thing out. I'm not going to count this as a weird trick. It's just a bad trick. It was a fakie flip. It was so forced in and so terrible, but I did roll away from it. But now let's get another weird trick. There's a one-footed nose slide. What the heck was that? That was me going for a crook and then slipping into nose slide. And the nose slide goes really well. There's another one of those weird like half willy, half nose grind things as I'm trying to do crooks up on this ledge. And there's another willy as well. And this ledge is tough. For some reason, I can't crook it very well. I can get an occasional one, but they just feel really weird. So then I went to backside 50-50, which is a lot of fun on this because I can get up on there usually without too much trouble, and I like riding all the way down it. Then right there, I thought, you know what if I did something off the hubba portion at the bottom? And I started trying backside 180. And it's another one of those mental battles, coming down this thing and trying to do a backside 180. I'm sure it's very possible for me. It's just really hard mentally. I'm going on a downhill slope, and then I've got a 180 onto a flat surface, and so the weight balance distribution stuff is really hard, and I couldn't wrap my head around it. And even though I'm not going fast, it feels like I am because I'm going downhill, so my brain freaks out, and it's really hard to convince myself to do the backside 180, let alone keep my balance and actually get back on the board properly. And I never did land this, but I'm glad I tried. But I couldn't try too many times because I said in a couple of videos ago, I'm trying to find balance, make sure I take care of my legs and my knees. And this was a little bit impactful. There was a little more going into my legs, a little more force. And so I did try a good handful of times, and I decided, you know what, I'm probably good there. I locked into another willy grind there. I didn't count that as a weird trick. You know, accidental willy grinds, we take those, but kind of funny. All right, let's go back to the mani pad. Had a nice manual there with a little bit of pop out. Something I really want in the future is a regular manual with a backside 180 out. And if it's kind of pivoty, reverty, I would take it. Got a nose manual there. I would take it, and it's something I've been working on for a while. I just can't resolve the weight and everything. Finally got a nollie front shove out, and that one I've been working on for a little while to get it back. I used to have that really down. And here I'm going into kind of a switch ollie into fakie manual or switch nose manual, whichever way you want to refer to it. It doesn't really bother me. But just trying to get that pop in and hold that manual all the way across. If I don't get the manual, it's a really good idea for me to try to do a trick off the mani pad that I might use one of these days. That last one there was really, really close. So I'm pretty sure this is a whole nother day I'm back on the mani pad. A nice pivoty back 180 there off the mani pad. I need to practice those more because I need that as a tool to get off this mani pad. I'm trying that back 180 again. And again, it's a weight distribution thing. I can sort of twist myself off, but I can't stay on the board. It's very strange. But the fact that I got a few manuals to lock in and got to twist off a bit, that's progress. This is going to be kind of a long-term one if I can ever get that to come off. Okay, I said we were going to go back to kickflips, and so I'm going to rapid fire some kickflip attempts out. And that's because kickflips are so fickle for me. Sometimes they're really good, like that one time in the garage a couple videos ago, or maybe it was last video. And then these are really sketchy. They're not popping up into my feet. They're going down toward the ground. It's so weird. My kickflips are sort of frustrating that some days I'm like, okay, I think I'm figuring this out. Finally got it. And now I don't. I mean, I'm landing kickflips. That's great. I landed a whole bunch of them this day. Trying some switch flips here too. And I didn't get this one back either, but I learned a little bit about how to position myself and keep my balance. But yeah, kickflips are hard. If you're working on those, if you haven't landed one yet, keep going, keep trying. If you have and you're trying to improve them, just keep going with me because I struggle with them as well. So this is yet another session warmed up with some manuals in different places. That was kind of fun to try to do it on the bank. I haven't done that in a good while. So now I'm going back to that fakie manual, and as I get started with these, I'm struggling to pop them into the mani pad, but I'm doing a lot better at getting off the mani pad. So was locking into the position fairly well once I could get there, but popping into it is like the last piece of this puzzle that I needed. And I said before, if I fail at the manual, I might as well do something like a fakie shove there or a half cab off, something to practice getting off the mani pad with some sort of other trick. As you can imagine, for me, this is another one of those mental battles because I'm doing a switch ollie up the mani pad and I'm trying to keep my weight over my front foot, which is my right foot in this case, which is backwards because it's a fakie manual, so it's really awkward. And I don't know if it's like this for everybody when you're learning manual type things, but this took hundreds of tries to finally get to one that I was happy with. That one was so close and I was so frustrated that I didn't get the pop out and that I stepped off. But a few more tries after that and I'm finally getting closer to locking it in when I do the ollie. And here we finally are with the real one. After that, I was hoping for 2 to make it true, and I nearly got this one popped in again, rolled all the way across, and my weight was off. And then after that, it kind of fell apart. I got a little tired, and so stopped working on the manual from there. And now we're back to kickflips again, because I'm always working on these. And I got a 1.5 flip there and tumbled out. Luckily, I was fine. This day, they got a little bit better. That one had some actual pop to it. That one felt pretty good. But see, they were very mixed. I had some really low ones as well. That one had a little more pop, but serious heel drag. And that one was super rocket. I'm still trying to understand what's going on here. On these days where the board is flipping 1.5, I feel like I'm doing something right because at least I'm getting some good flip on it. I called this one weird count number 7 because you could see that I actually got some front leg extension. That's weird. I don't normally do that. So I did get a couple this day that had nice pop that I was proud of. But again, it's weird how my kickflips go back and forth between, okay, that's the one I want, and this one's really terrible. And here I am again on this ledge on the other side of the park trying to get those crooks. And I got a couple of them, not too bad. Sliding across, a couple of them I landed. Some of these I didn't land, but I was just pleased that I locked them in and then slid. That one went into nose slide, but I rolled away, so we're going to say that that was a weird one. And now I'm going to try a trick that I tried a little while back, and that's nollie front tail on the bump to ledge. So I got to come the other way at this. And on this day, right away, it felt a little better than the other day when I tried it. I got the tail on there, but my weight distribution is terrible. I'm not committing to the ledge enough. Like I said, it's pretty scary the way the ledge falls off on the other side. We're calling this weird count number 9 because it was almost a one-footed tail slide. My other foot didn't touch the board at all. And I finally got a couple close ones here where I slid a little bit and I nearly landed. My feet were a little more coordinated. And then finally, I actually rolled away from one. Now it's an ugly one, it's not clean, but it is the first nollie front tail that I've ever done on a bump to ledge where I rolled away, so we're counting that. And then to wrap things up, we're just gonna come back to the hip. I got this super floaty backside 180, had some nice pop and I kind of drifted backwards, really enjoyed that one. And then I wanted to get that kickflip because if you remember, I didn't get it before. And I finally did get a decent kickflip on the hip, so we're improving, things are going pretty well, and I'm going to keep sharing my progression with you all. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.